It's been nice. You gotcha. Right, that's live. Yeah. Share.
This is Davina. You're live on Big Brother. Please do not say fuck or bugger. Have you messed up already?
No, everything's going fine at the moment.
You know you're
right,
live, right?
Cool. Yeah, we're live. We're not recording yet, which we will be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, international fans, local fans, appreciators of entertainment, or just how handsome Big Dave is. Welcome to the latest episode of The Boys from Bossk. How are you, Big Dave?
Fabulous.
Oh, you're looking gorgeous. Can't see it at the moment, though. You hit the behind your mic.
Trying to turn the light on, that's that.
That's very proven SNS performance. What's that?
That's me. I'm proven. I'm an engine. I'm proven.
Good. How have you been, man? It's this week. It's gonna be slightly different. We're just gonna be doing reviews for the most part this week because there's lots of entertainment we've watched. A lot of entertainment we've watched, and we haven't reviewed for the past couple of weeks properly. And we're just going to be going through reviews. So the format's going to be slightly different as we go in straight into from the screen to the couch.
No news is good news.
Yeah, it's all quiet period effectively. I may look at the top movies. Why? Because
everyone's watching TV.
I don't know. I think no. It's just that there's only like certain films are still killing the box office, but they're films that have been out for a couple of weeks. Like there's nothing that's new that was released apart from maybe Elvis.
Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, sorry, I've completely forgot Lightyear. And so, like the top 5, we saw Top Gun, Jurassic World Dominion will review when it comes out on Home View. Elvis will review eventually when it's released on whatever streaming platform it's coming on. The Black Phone is a horror film. I'm not into horror, but maybe one of our other hosts, if he ever returns, I know he loves horror, so maybe he can review that. And then Lightyear, all those products we will review in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we already done Maverick in that marathon review. But yeah, there's not much news this week to tell you other than that Top Gun hit $1 billion.
It's still soaring.
Yeah, actually hit $1 billion.
Did you get the pun?
Huh?
Still soaring?
Yeah. You're flying high there, Dave. You're flying high.
Yeah. I laugh at my own jokes because no one else will.
So yeah, we will review those in a couple of weeks. But me and Dave were chill guys, and we watch as it comes. And there's so much to watch on home TV. Unless a film's like, I don't know, a big event film, I'm not going to necessarily get out to the cinema and watch it. And just to avoid spoilers. Outside of that, I'm not too fussed. Jurassic Park stopped being popular with me after the first trilogy ended. I don't know about you, Dave. Is Jurassic Park still like a film that you?
I don't mind it actually. It gives it's more of a comic dimension now.
Is it still a kids' film? Because I know, like when I was young, it was very much a kids' film. Is it still there?
It's all based on Blue, isn't it?
What about Chris Pratt? You still a fan of the older Pratt?
I don't mind it because he gives that comic value, and there's a lot of actors just ain't got that.
Did you watch him in Parks and Recreation?
I did.
You see, I didn't. I've got. Do you know what? I'm going to promise myself that I'll sit down and watch it because everybody that likes him has watched Parks and Recreation. I've never watched that show
because he was the dumbass in that. You see, so
I'll check it out. I will. I'll give it a benefit of the doubt. I'm not a big Chris Pratt fan, but I don't hate him at all. I'm just not into what he does. Even Guardians, I've been like, yeah, you're all right. One things I did want to a top review first of all, I guess, is the arrival of Paramount Plus TV on the UK shores. It's taken them over a year since they launched in the States and abroad to make it to the UK. It's an interesting option to open up their own streaming service. They are playing it safe though. The Amazon, you can get it as an add-on. If you own Sky, you have to own Sky. You can get it as included with your package.
No,
like
only if you got Sky Q or Sky Glass with Sky Cinema.
Or Sky Cinema. So yeah, you gotta have Sky Cinema, and you'll get it included with your package. Outside of that, they have got their own app coming out soon if it's not already.
Yeah, it's on the TV.
But yeah, for me, it's just on. I get it via Amazon Prime, so I pay a bit extra. At the moment, it's still in. They've been very clever in what they've done, right? In the sense that it's free for 7 days.
Yeah, but and
then you have to pay for it. I know, but unlike Netflix, they're going down the Disney Plus route of not necessarily Disney Plus. They're going a very old-fashioned route of they put the first 3 episodes of some of their biggest shows out. So Strange New Worlds, Halo.
Yeah, we got to remember they're finished in the States.
Yeah, we're way behind them in the States, which I don't, let alone that this launched a year after, the channel even started. And they're doing that. I find that really, really quite strange. But how did you find your first? We'll review the shows in a second. But what do you think of the service overall? Has it got enough products?
I think they're doing what Disney done. They're releasing bit by bit.
Because Fast and Furious is one of their franchises.
They got a lot of franchises that ain't on there at the moment.
Yeah, which I'm very, very surprised at. And it seems, unlike Disney...
Is that down to viewing in the UK, because Sky already have the Fast and Furious franchise on their cinema?
Yeah, I was thinking it was a bit of that. But at the same time, I'm sure...
the rights at the moment, and it was come down like Disney does.
I'm sure, that's one of the franchises, and there's a few other ones. I know Amazon itself has Picard as its own, an Amazon original, and that's on the Paramount in the States. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I don't think it's got quite enough product on there. It has some really cool films on there.
It's got some great 80s and 90s films.
Yeah, it's got a lot,
especially comedy films like Coneheads and stuff like that.
But overall, I don't think it's got enough new. It's definitely not got enough new product, or anywhere near enough new product. And they may be making the same mistake Disney made. But at the same time, they have some big titles on there, new titles on there, which they're not putting a whole lot out. They're just putting the first few episodes out, which I think is very clever on one side. But it also means, again, once you've finally watched them, what's the point of being on Paramount?
Yeah.
Do I really want to see the Golden Child again and again? Yeah, but do I really want to see half the films have got on there? I don't know. It's. I think it's a worthwhile question.
Well, you don't know the Naked Gun franchise.
Yeah, is Naked Gun or all those projects still funny anymore? I don't know.
It will be for us because we came from that era.
I'll still give it a shot.
We understand the jokes.
I have found a few shows on there that I think are pretty damn impressive, but at the same time, I don't know if that's enough. Now, okay, but check it out. You can get 7 days for free. Like I said, if you're looking for Star Trek, it is the home of Star Trek, and I think the only place you can watch every single Star Trek film. All of the Star Trek films. I don't think you could do that anywhere else. Sky used to be the place you can do that.
Even new
yeah, even new ones. Got Nemesis is on there. All the new ones. I think the first one's on there. I didn't actually look for it properly because there was so much other stuff going on. And I was like,
you'd be giving out false information, and so it's not the home of Star Trek with
every
every single film because
it's got every new series. It's got all the original films.
It hasn't, has it? Because Amazon have an exclusive.
I think it's got all the new.
Amazon have Picard, so it doesn't have all the Star Trek. It doesn't have
Okay,
lower decks.
Dave, I
Come
told an
on.
untruth. You're so cruel to me. No, you're
You know
not.
how much I love Star Trek. I thought I'd tell you.
You're not Trekkie, are
No,
you?
exactly.
Why are you? Shut up. But yeah, okay. So we'll come back to the Paramount shows in a second. But first review up, because I don't think we've actually done a review of this. Stranger Things season 4. Did we do a full review? I don't think we did. Not a full and proper. Did we do Stranger Things season 4?
I think we was gonna wait until the other.
I think we waited until you watched them all, because you hadn't watched them all. Have you watched them all now?
Oh, we was gonna wait till the new season finished.
Really? Okay, well, we can dump that one. That's fine. We've got more
Have
than
a
enough
mini
shows.
chat about it, but
No. We'll wait until the second part. We've got enough. We've got more than enough stuff. Right. So, Umbrella Academy dropped last Friday. I've watched all the episodes. Have you finished your Umbrella Academy, or did you put it on the back burner, Big Dave?
I think I've been watching it every day, one episode a day. Let me just see where I am. I think it's 7 I'm on.
Okay, that's all right. This episode was the episode I was most concerned about, because as far as I know with the Umbrella Academy comic books, it hasn't gotten this far, and the story is completely different from the comic books. It's a lot more
I'm up to
superhero based.
So I've watched the first 6.
I'm loving this show, and I'd just like to say they've done 2 things that I love about this show. They convinced me even more that where is he? That Aidan Gallagher, who plays 5, should be in the X-Men. I don't know which character yet, but he should be in the X-Men. I'd put money if you could.
He's already playing Nightcrawler in that, isn't he? Teleporting everyone.
Is he? Well, yeah, effectively he is. But I reckon he'd be really good as a character in the X-Men. I'm not saying Wolverine quite yet, but there's just something about him, which he can do this old but young person so well. And he literally chews up the scenery, whichever scene he's in. And that's just that impresses me every time he comes on the screen. The rest of the cast are good, but for me, I watch it for the most part for him. The other thing they did is obviously Elliot Page, formerly Ellen Page, has gone through a transition from female to male, and I think again they handled it really well. In a sense, they just went, "If it's none of your business, ain't none of your business. Get on with it," and that was it. There was no big fanfare. They just literally went, "Victor,
right, I'm going to the barbers. I'm getting my hair cut off. And call me Victor." Okay, Victor,
that was it. I thought any other circumstance that would have come across as really cheesy, but in this show, it was just like, mind your business. It's what she wanted to do. It's fine. A few characters have a moment when they're like, "What? Why but then it's over, and they just get on with the show. And I think credit to Netflix on that, and credit to the cast, and just Elliot Page for clearly now throwing himself into this role. And I have to say the character's grown on me a lot more than they did in even the second season, where all they got to do in the second season was be really miserable and get thrown around a lot. I think Elliot's character, Vanya, formerly Vanya, now Victor, got abused during the second season a lot. I don't know. I just think so far, I don't know. I've finished the entire series. I'm loving it. I didn't think I would, but the fact I finished the entire series last night, 3:00 in the morning, and I think that says a lot about this show. It does seem to have a bit of a problem now. It's in its 3rd season, and it's still a doomsday. And the people least likely to want to solve your doomsday are having another doomsday that is starting to drag a bit. But again, I'm just loving the cast. It's not as in your face as something like The Boys is, but I think the writing's good enough that it and The Boys are 2 of my favorite shows about people with superheroes. And I think it shows they do something different from Marvel or HBO or all those other channels, and it's still interesting. I'm not saying it's a perfect show by any means, but I'm still enjoying it. What about you, Dave? You still there with the Umbrella Academy versus the Sparrow Academy?
Yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's like one of the best shows on telly. It's highly watchable.
Okay, yeah.
I don't mind it, but I'm not like overexerted.
You're not
Sounds
like
you
me,
are.
just nerding out
Yeah.
like your days just sitting there going, nerd.
Well, it's just like you said, it's the same thing as season 2, just with another academy with it. So it's like,
Yeah.
is the story going to go somewhere? You don't know.
No, that's a really, really good question. And season 1 was the best
Season 1
for
was brilliant,
several reasons,
but then
right?
it also introduced you to everyone.
Yeah. But also on top of that, they did have some really cool standout characters, like Mary J. Blige as Cha-Cha, and I think it was Cameron Britton as Hazel, the ones who were wearing the big animal head suits on their hair. They were like really outlandish but cool characters, and we lost them at the end of season 1, and they haven't really replaced those, but they still are able to tell relatively decent stories, and it hasn't messed up the way that Heroes did. Do you remember Heroes?
Oh god,
It hasn't.
They went backwards and forwds. It's like fast forward, rewind.
It didn't mess up like they did really, really badly, I think. And I hope it gets a 4th season. But overall, I'm just happy with it. I think it's well paced. It's not as strong visually as The Boys in terms of violence and sex, but you do feel for the characters. I certainly care for a lot of them, and there's been many times watching it I laughed. And the dance scenes in every single, they do at least one dance scene per season. And who can not love Footloose? I don't know who could not.
That was quite funny, actually. I thought that was really funny when I did a battle off of Footloose.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this show's biggest problem is its greatest strength. There are so many characters in this, but there's almost too many characters.
You say that, they got rid of half of them.
But also they don't. Nobody seems to ask the obvious questions in this show until it's too late. Like, and that's for me is a bit of an issue. But apart from that, really enjoyed it. If I was to give it a score, what would Curtis give it? I think I'm giving it a strong 9 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite shows.
I won't go that high.
That's all right.
I'll give it a 6. Not
That's fine. It's just getting a 9 for me. I think it's one of the
if it was a 9, then I'd watch episodes back to back.
Yeah, which I did. Okay, so Umbrella Academy, Dave, you gave it a 6 so far. You've still yet to finish the entire season. I'm going for a strong 8.
So I've still got another 4 to watch.
Let's move on to our next show, Obi-Wan. Now, Obi-Wan, 6 episodes it was, Obi-Wan. It was a show that the fans turned on it from episode 1. Like, people were just like, damn you, Disney, evil. And by the time we got to season 6, it was like, I'm so in love again.
Episode 6, you mean?
Well, it's episode scene 6, whatever you like.
You said season 6.
Sorry, yeah, episode 6.
Yeah.
By the time we got to episode, all right. By the time we got to episode 6, it was like falling in love again, and people really like a lot of the anger and rage seemed to dissipate.
Was the best one out of the whole lot.
Not for me. I think I did one of 2 things, right? Because one thing was really annoying me about this. I adjusted my TV set because my TV screen was making it look too sharp, right?
So
and making it look.
You didn't see the light sticks. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was, how do I put it? It just made it look like it was an episode of EastEnders, as opposed to like this cinematic opera taking place. So I adjusted my TV screen, and I suggest everybody does that because do you remember when Tom Cruise kicked off about it a couple of years ago? It was like, modern TVs are messing up my movie pictures. Do you remember that, Tom Cruise, who did the video? No? Well, basically, your TVs are so good, they're too good now, and they're picking up on too much stuff.
Well, that's because they don't like to see the spots on their skin and stuff now.
Yeah. So you can adjust the TV so the image still looks high definition, but less sharp. And that's what I did. And I sat down and went through and watched it from the start again. And I have to say, overall, Obi-Wan for me holds up really, really well. In terms of single best episodes, the last 2 are the best because they showed they showed Vader's strength and all Obi-Wan's resilience to great effect. But also, I think just because the combat scenes were better, and it felt like it was going somewhere. My overall opinion of Obi-Wan is I think Disney needs to start doing better and being a bit more ambitious, especially in the quality. How you can have claim that something cinematic and then have bad special effects, I don't get that. I don't understand why and how you can do that.
The spaceship scene in episode 6, when Obi-Wan's spaceship was flying away from
no, it was the
cruiser.
It was
the cruiser. You could see it was like a puppet hanging on a bit of string flying in front of it. It was like Battlestar Galactica in the 80s.
No, the worst one for me was this when they were escaping.
The speeder was terrible.
Yeah, and it wasn't that. It was the scene was awkward. That scene should have looked fantastic. We've stood before a speeder batting away shots, right? That should have looked amazing. But it looked like a project in somebody's school, in somebody's school science project.
It was like literally spaceship battles, budget 0.
Yeah, and Disney really needs to do better than that, because there are now fans who will jump on that and try and crucify Lucasfilm and Disney. And even though it's Dave Filoni, they'll blame Karen Kennedy before they ever blame Dave Filoni for anything, right? Anything goes wrong, it's Karen Kennedy. If it goes right, it's Dave Filoni. And I really look. I hate Star Wars fandom at the moment. I think they're some of the most obnoxious, mean-spirited people. But I'm not going to criticize them for being upset about bad special effects, which is what Star Wars is meant to be about. It's meant to be the peak.
It's meant to be the peak of special effects.
Yeah, and I think
when it first came out in the 70s, no one saw special effects like that before ever. You know, it was like wow. And that's how you want it still. You want wow. Like I was saying, like the lightsabers and stuff, it's like a bunch of glow sticks. You need that aura like you had from the original lightsabers where they glue.
I think the lightsaber battles. No, I've been fine with the lightsaber battles.
The fighting's good, but if you actually look at the lightsabers while they're fighting, it's like 2 glow sticks. Just you can hear it going in your head, going ting ting, with the plastic hitting each other. Put an extra bit of glow on there, feed it out. You know?
I think Reva was a great character. She got ever so much flack from day one, and it just seems to be a pattern. Anytime you get a new character introduced to Star Wars, it doesn't matter whatever.
There's one thing that's bugged me as well.
What's that?
They both got stabbed through the stomach, and they both survived.
But they were both they were both Darksiders.
They die.
No, but they're Darksiders. That's the whole point of this is the whole thing. This is a big difference between being a Jedi and somebody on a dark side, right? I should introduce you to a guy called Stupendous Wave, because he'll explain it a lot better. If you're a light sider, right, and you die, you effectively can become one with the Force. If you're dark side and you die, you don't become one with the Force. You can't. That's why you've never had in any of the shows, you've never had dark side ghosts appear. You've never seen dark Jedis appear after death. And so this is the reason why Darksiders grip onto life so desperately, because if they lose it, that's it. It's game over. They're not popping back.
Yeah, but then she turns to the light side. So why does she not die?
And we don't know what's happened to it yet. We just know it's over. Vader said, "Off you go."
She's got a great big hole in her stomach, and then she went off looking for.
I'm not having that.
I felt sorry for him. Turned good again. She should have died.
Dave, I'd agree with you, but somebody set a precedent of being cut in half and coming back and giving us some of the best Star Wars.
Yeah, but Darth Maul was different.
Don't give me that. Oh my good God, no, nerd. No, I'm not having that.
Darth Maul was different.
No, Darth Maul got cut in half, bruv. I'm not. No.
Yeah, but he was an alien species. She's human.
No, I'm not giving you that. I get it.
Spider legs.
No. He literally got cut in half, and the sheer force of the dark side kept him alive. I just thought that was a stroke of absolute genius. But the one other thing I would say, look, you know what? You can argue that point, and that's a fair point to make. They keep making a habit of leaving people alive, right? And part of me saying they left her alive because she wasn't worthy of them. They don't care about her. They don't care if she is. They don't care if she was. She's complete. She's done what she needed them to do, and I think that's fair enough. But it just sets a bad precedent with the Empire. It really does. I think she was a great character overall. I think she was introduced really well.
No, she was.
I think her story was really tragic.
Let her die at the end.
It would have been an interesting
but she saved him. So that's my time to go.
Oh yeah,
thank you very much. And then walk off in the sunset with Qui-Gon Jinn.
You know what? I'm not going to disagree with you. That would have been an interesting wrap her end up. But I think the reason is they're going to use her down the road. I wouldn't be surprised if she pops up again in Ahsoka, or something like that. I loved Princess Leia. I think one of the most disappointing things about like Padme in the original series, she didn't get to do much, whereas Leia sort of made up for a lot of that. Some people found her annoying. Again, I get that. I completely understand that. But I think overall, again, she did a really good job.
It did turn into like the Princess Leia show, didn't it?
Yeah, which I didn't mind. I
didn't mind it, but it turned it very Disney.
Well, yeah, but it's always... Look, I count myself lucky that even after all this time, I can enjoy a kids' show like Star Wars. And I don't know if people would sit young kids down to watch this, but I get where you're coming from. I think there was that danger of that, but it didn't get too bad. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't like Phantom Menace.
Still had the action and all that stuff. Yeah, it wasn't the whole film based on the child.
In Phantom Menace, where she wasn't slipping and accidentally pressing the wrong button and going off and saving the planet. Yeah. You know, she'd do little things, and I think that worked. And I think it was quite nice that when you think about it, you now realise why she named the kid Ben.
It's one of the world's smallest 10-year-old, though.
Yeah. Why she named her child Ben. Do you know what I think they need to do, though? And Dave, you bring up a really good point. I think they need to dump this timeline thing that they've got going on. Because apart from just winding me up every time somebody goes, well, Obi-Wan doesn't look alike. Yep, it's a different fucking actor. But apart from that, it's like the time, it doesn't matter.
You've got to remember, in the next 8 years, he's got to look as old as Alec Guinness.
Yeah, and I think it's time to either dump that timeline or make clear that a year is different.
Yeah. In
this, because I'm just fed up of fans. How many YouTube videos are they going to make about this? I can't take it anymore. These people need to leave it. Who cares? I don't give a shit. So Han Solo doesn't look like the original has. Who cares? It's not him. Harrison Ford's an old man. What do you want from him? Do you know what I mean? It's like, no offense to the original cast, but this sort of obsession with using the same actors. That's what killed.
So they're going to get fucking fat Billy D. Williams going, do
you know what? That's the one thing I hear about the prequels. The disrespect in the Star Wars Extended Universe books carries on into the sequels, and I hate Lando Calrissian blew up the Death Star, right? And all he gets is a bit part in the end of the first film. Well, Leia sent me on a mission out here in the middle of nowhere. Like, really? Come on, man! No! Stop it! It should have been Uncle Lando from Kylo, right? He should have been front and center. Not this like rubbish. I would have loved it if they changed the story.
Well, yeah, because that's like the original film, they were best mates.
Yeah, and what would have been cool, right?
Fair enough, they had a disagreement, but they were good mates.
Well, what would have been better is if well, this is just me being nasty, but what would have been cool is if Lando, Han Solo pisses off, right? He goes off, he can't do all this stuff, he's got to leave, and in comes Lando. Leia, I'm here. What triangle would that have been?
You're watching some dirty pornos again, aren't
you? How much of a triangle would that be if Lando's on the scene like, Leia, that dirty rotten scoundrel never did you any good. So yeah, I do, and remember we've still got a Lando TV series coming down the path at some point.
Supposedly.
I just think at the end of
Or
the
is
day,
he just going to turn up in a TV series instead?
yeah, maybe. Right. So, but yeah, overall, I loved Obi-Wan. I'm definitely going to give it my first 9 of the run. I think it's earned it from me. I enjoyed every single episode. I love the way that they mirrored the films. Each and every episode mirrored what happened in the original and prequel and the original trilogy. I thought that was quite clever. Yes, I've got issues with the filming, especially in episode 3, I think it was. The standard of actually filming in episode 3 was a bit off, and the speeders.
Your first 9. Did you not give something else a 9?
No, I don't think I've ever given anything else a 9. And but what's more beautiful about it, not this year at least, unless it was Spider-Man. I might give Spider-Man a 9, but that was last year. But what makes me happy about this is we finally get to see how badass Vader was, but also how badass Obi-Wan
You
really
gave Umbrella
was.
Academy a 9 just a minute ago.
No, it was 8.
Oh, you changed it?
No, okay, didn't I give it an 8?
No, you gave it a 9.
All right, then I guess it's 9 and up then.
9 today.
No, I'm sure it was 8. Well, we'll double check it. But I think overall it's a beautiful series. What about you, Dave? Were you taken with it?
Very hit and miss. I preferred it more than Boba Fett.
Okay.
I was very disappointed with Boba Fett until Mandalorian turned up and saved the series. You know, so yeah, I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay. And what
it could have been a lot better.
What did you do? Would you want a season 2 as well?
I reckon they do need to do a season 2 just to get a Luke story now. They've had a Leia story. Have the other twin have a story. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe a Darth Vader story.
Uncle Owen won't be happy about that.
Maybe just a Darth Vader story. Because Darth Vader was in like Rebels and stuff.
You know,
like
I think they
bring
could
him
do
into that,
an
into
entire
Ahsoka and stuff like that.
I think they could do an entire series of Vader. I really do.
I think they need to do Vader. Get rid of the Obi-Wan Kenobi background story. It's always good people. I want a baddie film.
Well, Vader is they do Vader comic book. I think you've got an issue of that, don't you?
I've got the first 50 issues of that.
Yeah, so you got Vader, the comic book, and I think that you can pull off a series of Vader.
Yeah, you also got Vader Down as well. So there's two
people could handle how evil Vader is. I know in this show he comes out and he batters and kills and murders, but in the comic book he does it a lot. So I'd be interested to see if people could actually handle that.
They need to get Vader and Thrawn together, like the Vader and Thrawn background stories. That'd be awesome.
Well, there you go. That's a TV show already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So next, we're gonna do Boys Heroism last. So I'm just gonna go through these next ones quickly because it's only the first 3 episodes we've seen of these. Halo. Now Halo's an old computer game. I remember playing it when it first came out. It was combat defined. It was a great shooty game. Some people tell me it has lots of lore and stuff like that.
Well, this is turning to Mandalorian again. Master Chief does not take his helmet off. You never see him with it on.
You know what? I just don't care.
But
I understand if you
same as the Mandalorian. You don't take off your helmet.
True,
okay, I just take off my helmet every episode now.
I realize that, but at the same time, that's just for the convenience of programming. You know, if you did a show, and this is the problem with Mandalorian, and even do you remember the original Spider-Man film? This is a problem with entertainment when you're telling stories. Having someone have a mask on, and a non-emotional mask on that doesn't react to anything being said. It's really hard to tell a story and keep people engaged because people respond to what they see and they see face movements or whatever. And that was part of the problem with The Mandalorian. Yes, it was.
Yeah, because no one wants to see Pedro Pascal's face.
Yeah. And you know, that's all right for the first couple of episodes, but it doesn't really work long term. And I think also hygiene. And I'm just very like hygiene. Like the only reason Master Chief never took off his mask was for the convenience of programming. There's no reason why he should have his mask on. It was a computer game, and it was easier to have the character have their mask on than take it off. So it meant he could be anyone, right? Now, come to the TV show, and like people are literally like, they're breaking the law of the book. And I'm like, it's not the fucking Bible. Come on. I'm like, I get you. Yeah. In the it's like Judge Dredd. I get it. In the comic book, he never takes his helmet off. That's fine here. Yeah? But you try telling a story with a character that's got his mask on and see how successful it'll be. Just look at the last Judge Dredd film they done. That was a superb movie. Do you remember it? It was with
the guy from The Boys.
But with Bones,
Carl, what's his face?
Carl Urban, right?
Carl Urban, yeah.
Absolutely amazing movie. Doesn't take his mask off once. Absolute flop.
Yeah, but then you can't see his emotion.
Yeah, but because you can see his chin. Yeah, right. And I'm just saying. Yeah, I get it. Master Chief in a game doesn't take his helmet off, but Master Chief in a game hardly says anything, and all he has to do is go around shooting things. Now, yes, that's great for a computer game, but this is why so many computer game films flop. You cannot transfer these things over directly. You know what I mean? Your audience isn't going to sit there for that. They're not going to sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours and watch that over and over again. Each episode, somebody just shooting something and making a quippy comment. And I think they've done a really decent job on this story now on Halo, because it stars I don't know. I've seen him before. His name's Pablo Schreiber, and I think is he related to the other Schreiber? He was he not Wolverine? Sabretooth.
No, he is. So he was the guy that was in the Gods, the thing of Gods. He played the Irishman.
Yeah, I remember. But is he related to the other Schreiber?
No, that is him.
Because I think he does a really good job, you know, as Master Chief. He comes in, he's obviously, this is telling the story of what happens before the Halo comes along. So they've meted it out, they've fleshed it out with a few more characters. And obviously the fandom are out there complaining because it's got other characters in there. Like, it's just like the Mandalorian. He was with the girl for one episode, took her somewhere, left her there. It's not the Mandalorian. He's not a bounty hunter. I don't know, it's got that old MacGuffin about somebody older protecting somebody younger. But that's a trope throughout entertainment. And yes, it's unfortunate. Wouldn't it be bad if they didn't take his helmet off? Then you could say it's exactly like the Mandalorian. I'm just like, I don't understand what the obsession with Master Chief not taking his helmet off is. He takes it off in the game a few times, and he puts it on in the game. At the start of the game, he isn't even wearing it until he's actually put this on. And I just think it's a weird hill to die on. I think the special effects are ropey as hell, but somehow not at the bit you'd expect them to be, like with the actual bad guys, because they actually look all right. It's everything else looks really cheap. It reminds me of the end of Firefly. Do you remember Firefly started looking really cheap at the end of its run? It reminds me of that a lot. And they need to, I don't know how much Paramount's put into this, but they need to put more, they need to really make it look a lot better than it currently is. Apart from that, I've enjoyed it. I'm all right with it.
I'm okay with it. It's not my go-to. I don't mean
it's got a decent cast.
It's okay to watch.
They do have a lot of tropes, like the meanest leader is an Indian woman. Got that from The Expanse, and I think the whole story is lots of people being incredibly mean to each other. But apart from that, I'm honestly really happy with it.
But they've given away the plot already, though, haven't they? Really? Well, you know, the woman that's hunting them down for the thing. You already know it's the girl that got left behind. And he became Master Chief, the boy, when he got kidnapped.
Well, I didn't know that.
Can you not see it? I can see that. That's what it is.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know that at all.
That's what I can see. What's happening?
Why haven't you joined the police? Why are you so good at this stuff? Meant to be the nerd.
Well, you know, you had the girl and the boy, and they said, "Oh, once you give us a kiss and blah blah blah," and then one got taken away and one never.
I didn't pick up on that at all.
And I reckon that's Master Chief and the girl, and that's why they connect with the symbol.
Well, no, okay. Well, look, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's got a decent cast. I'm loving Bokeem Woodbine, who just looks like an older version of Dave Chappelle, who plays Master Chief's mate.
Yeah, but
He does look like
he always plays that rough and tumble bad guy, doesn't he? And as soon as I saw the young version, I mean, if they it's going to be the guy from Dead Presidents when it comes out. And lo and behold, it's the guy from Dead Presidents.
I think the other Spartans look really, really cool. The Spartans look really, really cool in this. Well, I don't know if the actors are actually that tall, but they have a lot of presence in this, and it looks really cool. Yeah, the suits look really, really cool, and just the way they are, how big they look in the scenes. I think it's really, really, they pulled it off really well. I don't know if all the actors are actually that tall, but I'm really happy with it. I think it could be better. The storytelling, it seems to be crossing in between sort of a mixture of Lost and your average action films, and I think that needs to be a little bit of work here. But I'm happy with it, and I hope it builds towards something. I really do hope. If I'm not asking it to be like the Halo game, but when we do eventually see the Halo, if it's a cheap special effect, I'm done.
Well, the first episode started off really well.
Yeah.
And the other two episodes have been like, no action, First episode, bang, action everywhere. You think, this is going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And also, like, I'm with you. I can't say that, but I'm enjoying the cast.
So I didn't mind. Like when I first watched it, I thought, it's pretty good. And the other two episodes have been like,
Now, the young lady who's playing his Grogu, Yeren Ha, has she been in anything we know before? Halo? No, she hasn't really. So this is her first big break. I know she's doing this decent job. I've got a feeling she might become a Spartan, or a Spartan trainee at some point. But it'd be interesting to see what they actually do with the character, whether she's an important part of the story or whether she is just a Grogu. But I know when everybody saw it, they went like, "Oh, she's so cute." Nobody done that. What I'd also like to say is the violence in here. They take no prisoners, man. In the first 20 minutes of that show, most kids in films that like in most violence in a lot of these type shows. Yeah, but it wasn't that blew them up. Like your heads were exploding, bro. Yeah. I was like, these kids they just got high. It was like, I don't know, it was like
found some magic mushrooms. Bang.
Yeah. It's like Conservative wrote this. And it's almost surprising that these kids weren't having sex in the forest. But the first time some of them take some drugs, that's the last thing they see. And I think that was really brutal. But it reminded me of a lot of 80s films. So overall, I think I'm going to give this a 6. I'm all right with it. It is slightly above the average in terms of TV sci-fi, but it definitely could be better. How about you, Dave?
I'm probably with you with that. At the moment, it's a 6. Let's see what the other 7 episodes bring us.
Okay. For now, I'm going to leave out. I was going to do Strange New Worlds, but I think I'll leave that until next week because I'm still.
What's that? Star Trek?
Yeah, Star Trek.
I've watched the first 17 minutes.
Yeah, I'm still in a state of mind.
I thought, you know what? It's a new series. I'm going to have a go at this.
What I think I'll do
17 minutes and then I had to go out.
We'll do a Star Trek special. And I've got a friend who will get into a mad argument with me about it. But I'm just like, people have been going on about how shit Star Trek Discovery is and how amazing Strange New Worlds is. And I'm just like, are you for real? Are you for real? That, like, really? That's the hill you're going to die on? This is the first Star Trek in a long time to go back to the episodic format. The last time we had the episodic format was the first 2 seasons of Star Trek Next Generation. But apparently there was a call for it. It's got a very diverse cast. Anson Mount's got his first proper talking role. He really needed for a long time because he was, as some of you know, playing Black Agar on in the Inhumans for Marvel, and he didn't have any words to say.
Yeah, to say Doctor Strange.
Yeah. And now in this, he's finally got a proper speaking role, and he is lovely. Anson Mount, like his character's quite just a lovely human being, and it really comes across in this. And it is bright for a Star Trek show. I mean, it's colourful, it's bright. Everybody talks in a snazzy way. I don't hate it, but we'll do a proper review. I'll do a Star Trek special because there's so much Star Trek. It's hard to keep track of. So until we do that, that's for another time. Because what I really want to get into is the boys, and in particular, Hero Gasm, which came to us last Friday. Now, so far, Dave, what have you thought of the boys?
There's a lot of penises in it this year.
Well, what the first episode? It was a whole lot of penis in the first episode, wasn't it?
And the last episode was a whole lot of penis.
Yeah, not just penis, but the internals of the penis. And then this episode, it was right. So I read the original comic book, and if you haven't read it, I encourage you to buy it. I really like it. Is if you think the film's harsh, the comic book is bordering on homophobic and possibly a bit misogynistic in many ways, because it's just like there's no bars, and Carl Urban's character and all the rest of it is a lot more just not a lot more of a nasty bloke than he is in this, because in the comic book his missus doesn't have an affair with Homelander. She actually
Runs off.
She's actually murdered by she's murdered by Homelander, or is it? Is all I'm going to say there. But I'm loving this show. I think they've adapted it in a really, 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 really good way. They've made it a lot more grounded, believe it or not, and the cast is just superb. I think this episode, they've struggled a bit with what to do with them. But I can't get over how each episode, even if it's a quiet episode, something shocking happens. There's not an episode goes by there something shocking just doesn't like that. That's just a bit that's shocking. Do you know what I mean? There's not a bit or a bit that disgusts you in some way. And this is another one of it. And it's got this really serious subject at the heart of it, where superheroes are literally going mad or suffering from PTSD or just plain mean. But this episode, more than the other, it had a dance. Did it have a dance scene this episode? I'm not getting mad. A musical scene. Herogasm. Yeah, they did at the start.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm not getting mad. I don't think I'm getting mad.
I don't know. I watched it quite late at night, so I can only remember bits and bobs.
Well, look, this is just superb. Carl Urban playing Billy Butcher, Jack Quaid, Hughie Campbell, Anthony Starr is just menacing and should be. He should be in a lot more stuff. As long as he can manage to not get arrested for going, "Do you not know who I am?" Yeah, we know who you are, Mr. Starr. Just take a seat. Like he was in, what was it, Benidorm, or somewhere in Spain, where he was. Erin Moriarty, who plays Anna January or Starlight, and then and even people like JCT Usher or Lazar Mother's Milk, it's just superb. He gets done bad in this. I mean, there's like moments where he's like, this isn't worth it. This just isn't worth it. But yeah, I think this is one of the best episodes of The Boys I've seen so far. Not as good or as shocking as the first episode, but still a damn good episode. And it's just getting that bit more scary. I didn't think Homelander could become that more scary, but he is. And even Carl Urban's Billy Butcher.
Well, I don't know how the three of them just didn't destroy him. I just didn't get that.
You'll see. If it's anything to do like the book, it's all about the power.
Yeah.
It's all about the power levels, because they've changed it up a lot from the comic book. And that's why I say read the book, because it makes quite a nice twist at the end of it. And but if I'm going to give it a rating, Herogasm.
You're going to give it another 9? You might as well. You might as well go flat out 9s today. You're in a good mood.
I'm going perfect 10 for this episode.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. There was no fat on this episode. Up the danger, up the scales, up the penis.
I think there was some man fat when he opened the toilet door.
And that poor octopus. I bet PETA aren't like.
Yeah, but he still walked
week,
away with it. Did you not notice that? When he walked out the door, he saved the octopus.
I just thought it was excellent and credit again for pulling off a superb episode. Herogasm, it's not as shocking as the comic book one version is, but it's still got moments where you go, I physically can't eat now because I've seen that and like, I can't eat until I get that memory out of my head. What did you think, Dave? What would your score be?
It was funny. I would give it an 8. It was funny. But the way the story just kept on disappearing, I was like, just stick to one bit of the story, just knock it out of the park, and they didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
And they should have done. They could have like literally just put the whole thing in that house, the whole story for that episode. Could have started. Yeah, like, we're going here and just do the whole story.
Yeah, but then it would have been porn, and I think that's where they want to stay away from. They just want to shock people.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Yeah, no, it's shocking.
As soon as they open the door, this like 20-foot penis come flying out the door.
What was his
to
name?
shake hands with them?
What was that character's name? It's oh god, it was something Super Dick. I can't remember, but that was in the comic book.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god.
He's a character in the comic book, and he's actually a Russian superhero. And again, it was too much. He survived the episode though, didn't he?
Was his name not Trouser Snake?
Yes, that was it. But I think he had a different name in the comic book. But by God, yeah, watch that episode. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm happy to give that my first 10 of the year.
Well, your first 10 ever.
Yeah, I'm giving that a 10. I thought it was superb. It hit the spot. It touched me.
Quite literally.
Oh, Huey, with his appalling superpower of being able to try and teleport, but not able to bring his clothes with him.
Yeah, that is like the most pathetic superpower.
Yeah.
And then Starlight loses hers as well, and then you still don't see nothing. You're like, really?
Well, no. Then you're getting into the area of porn, and that you don't need that on it.
Still see some butt.
Dirty pervert, dirty pervert.
Correct.
I think, I think they're doing a great job. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes, and it's going to be even more interesting to see how people think Butcher's evil now. Oh, you wait for what you see what's coming. Butcher's in a whole different level of bad guy, and it'll be interesting to see where he goes.
Well, they're no longer bad guys, are they? They're like, I don't know who the bad guys is. Is it the superheroes or is it the people chasing the superheroes?
Yeah,
like, who's the bad guy?
That's the thing. I think Butcher's going to get worse. Definitely going to get worse. All right, I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all your reviews for this week. We will be back for more. There's so much TV at the moment. I don't know how we're going to get through it. And I think we're going to have to do a podcast together.
Well, Young Rock came back. I've watched the first 8 episodes of that as well.
Well, there you go. There's a review that we've got for next episode.
Yeah.
I think we need to do a podcast together at some point. So I'm going to work that out and make that happen now. I've made that promise.
What?
When we're in the same space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we need to make that happen. Because
space. Better build a building.
We'll make a space. Or maybe you can come up to Rada. We'll do it there. Yeah, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you ever so much for joining us on the Boys from Bossk. We appreciate you. We love you. We need you. Our Patreon will be starting up in the next couple of weeks, and you can show your love by donating or not to us. Any help's appreciated as the Boys from Bossk marches on to become the world's finest podcast. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Good night.
See you later.
Good night. Good day.
Ciao.